Hey guys, Slow Stacker here, coming at you with another Stacking is Life video. Basically, I'm going to go over some of the books that I have. And I'm a strong proponent that if you're a prepper, you need to have some books, paperback books. So if the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you're going to have that information. So let's dive right into it. I think there's going to be three different categories here that I'm going to talk about. These categories are kind of, there's going to be like the prepping mindset category. There's going to be the skill set category, and then there's going to be the kind of like maybe like a knowledge or there's even like a recreational. There's a couple of novels that are really good that I'll talk about too. But let's start off with the mindset stuff. On Combat by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. The physiology and psychology and physiology of deadly conflict in war and peace. This is probably like the fourth version of this book that I've had. And I've been fortunate enough to meet Grossman. He's a great guy. He's also a believer, which is cool. I brought this book to his conference, and he was like, "Wow, you honor me with bringing your worn copy." And I said, "You should have seen the last one I had, because it had been through like maybe 5 or 6 hands, and there were creases and all kinds of stuff, but I couldn't find it, so I had to buy a new one in preparation of going to his conference." So, On Combat, great book, and also very healing too. If you are a veteran and you don't know, or you've been in a situation you don't know why your body did what it did, or you're carrying guilt, stuff like that, this is a really great read. It's eye-opening. So On Combat, I can't recommend this book enough. The next one, which is kind of like the sister book of On Combat, is On Killing, and this is the psychological cost of learning to kill in war and in society, where this one deals more with like military and stuff like that. This kind of deals with civilians and law enforcement and stuff like that. And this is another great book. A lot of corollaries in between the two of them. Some of the same stuff is in there, but they're both excellent reads. On Killing, and again, it's Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. And I had this one signed too. Pretty cool. The next one, I'll just stay in the Grossman theme here because I got quite a few of them. But this one is more of like a children's book. It talks about sheepdogs, and it's really good. And there's like there's some, like, I'll just show you a little bit, but like talks about police officers and kids defending other kids at school, and military and stuff like that. And it's really great for kids to learn. And it also talks about like parents and stuff like that. So it's really great to prep your kids for the mindset of, doing what's right and all of that. So that's great. Oh, sorry about that. Another really good one is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. If you don't know anything about this, the Art of War is like an amazing place to go. I keep bumping the camera, sorry. For for quotes and ideas. It's a required reading for a lot of our military. So like just an example here. Peace proposals unaccompanied by a sworn covenant indicate a plot. So that's interesting, you know, like there's all kinds of great, if birds gather on any spot, it is unoccupied. Like there's just all kinds of great information in there. So that's kind of like the mindset. And that'll get into a little bit more of the next part, which is kind of like the prepping kind of thing. And to these, I turn to the Tony Nestor books. I cannot recommend these two books enough. Tony Nestor, he's in Arizona. He teaches all kinds of people how to survive in the wilderness and the desert, all kinds of good stuff in these. It's really thin. I think it's only like, what? It's only 57 pages. But this thing is like chock full of information. And if you're looking to start prepping and you haven't begun, he takes you through the basics. You know, talking about, can you be ready to pull out in 15 minutes? Seeking shelter, things to consider. He takes you through a couple different scenarios, basically, if you're gonna get in a disaster where it's like just your neighborhood, where are you gonna go? And then further than that, like maybe that's going to be a 24-hour deal. So you don't need to take a whole lot of stuff. But then if it's a local disaster and your entire city has gone under, where are you going to go after that? You know, so that's kind of the thought process behind it. And what it really does, you can read through that book and then make a checklist and check off each thing and get it. And that's really great. This one is a follow-up to it. When the grid goes down, disaster preps and survival gear for making your home self-reliant. And the best thing about this is, it starts small. And these books together, I think, are $20 off of his website. When you buy them off his website, apathways.com. I've mentioned these before, but anyway. So great books, great information. I didn't realize this until today when I was talking about doing this, and I pulled the books off the shelf, that I have this one signed. That's kind of cool. So then, you get into a couple of other things in prepping. When you do food, it's kind of important to know what to do with it. This is a fantastic book to get, the Encyclopedia of Country Living. There's tons of editions, but you just get into the leaves we eat. I mean, this thing is just full of information. So it's not a bad thing to do. Look, here it is, what you've all been waiting for. If you're still here, this is the secrets of making fermented pickles. There you go, you guys. The secrets have been revealed. Leave a comment about fermented pickles below. Anyway, so I mean, this is like, look, nut crop management and recipes, and like anything you want to know, man, it's in here. So this book is great, and it was $30. I think I got it for less, but and really, when it comes down to it, if grid goes down and we do end up having to homestead, which would be horrible, and I'm praying that never happens. This may be like my most used book, Encyclopedia of Country Living, and that is by Carla Emery. Now I'm going to get into some medical books that I've got. First Aid and Responding to Emergencies by the American Red Cross. You can pick these up. It doesn't matter really if it's going to be an older book or not. I don't think I've written in this. But it just talks to you about like poisons and injected poisons, care for anaphylaxis. If you have a problem, you can look. You can look it up. SIDS, language barriers, special situations, delayed help situations. That's going to be everyone. Anyway, so just good stuff. Good to have information-wise. I think this also came with it. This is CPR and AED for Professional Rescuers and Healthcare Providers Handbook. Kind of good to have, you know, and you might be able to find an AED, and if you don't have one, maybe there's a building that has one. I don't know. You can make off with it if the situation dictates. I don't know, but at least know CPR and get trained. Go get trained in CPR, first aid, and stuff like that. They're doing all kinds of extra stuff in the CPR classes now, where you learn a little bit more about wound care and putting nasal airways in, stuff like that. So that's good. The next books I'm going to talk about are still in the medical. Let's see. Oh, I skipped one. Cooking with Home Storage, 75 cents. But you know what? If you've got flour and honey and beans and rice and sugar and stuff like that and vegetables that you grew, like, here's a bunch of recipes. Indian corn casserole. Sounds good. Homemade pasta. No meat chili. That's what I'm talking about. Because guess what? Probably not going to have a lot of meat. Anyway, 75 cents recipes. If you don't have a cookbook, then you're not going to know what you're going to do with your food. So these are good. And then another thing to do is to try them out. You know, there's no reason why you can't, you know, do one of these recipes and see how you like it. That's not a bad idea. Better to find out before you need it than to do it after. There's a cider recipe in here. I should look that up. Anyway, so there's that. Cooking with Home Storage. And that's by, oh, it doesn't even say. Doesn't even say. Hold on. Cooking with Home Storage by Peggy Layton. I'll put a description and all this stuff in the description. So now we're getting into some serious stuff here. Where there is no dentist. That's some crazy stuff. If there's no dentist and you have a toothache, this could be like a really good thing. But it talks about what to do, how to do dental work, stuff like that. Look at this. You can clean with a stick. This is how you're gonna clean between each tooth. So good book to have. Where there's no dentist. It even gets into like extracting teeth, I think, and stuff like that. So, so that's good. Take out the tooth, chapter 11. So yeah, where there's no dentist. And then the sister book, or probably the brother book, rather, is Where There Is No Doctor, a Village Healthcare Handbook by David Werner. And I think these are both by David Werner. Oh, this is Dickinson. Introduction by David Werner, author Where There Is No Doctor, and this is by a guy named Dickinson. So, Where There's No Doctor, and you know, you can imagine that what this gets into. So, hello. Childbirth, family planning. Anyway, great book to have. I think I picked these up on the cheap. So those are good. Another interesting book to get is this one, and this one just blows my mind. Emergency War Surgery, 2004. It's a DoD book. You can get it online, but it just blows my mind about all the things all the injuries that occur when you're in a wartime thing, which is a possibility. So, from like fractures and extremity wounds, the images in this are really intense. Drilling into bones. I mean, stuff that you would like never, ever think about doing, but maybe a situation will dictate that you need to do some of this stuff. So there's some images in here that I'm like, whoa. And they're obviously illustrations, but not anyway, good book. Good book to get in case you're in a situation where there's no rule of law and you have to fend for yourself. Emergency Wartime Surgery. And I have the 3rd edition. I'm sure there's probably newer ones. The next one I want to talk about is Light Infantry Tactics for Small Teams. And this is by Christopher Larson. I know this is a long video, you guys. I'm wrapping it up here. I got a couple more books. So this one is a handbook that you can get. I think it's about $20, $20 or $30. But this book right here has everything you need to know about running a small unit, light infantry team, methods of crossing roads and stuff like that, giving orders, warning orders, encrypting messages, tactical formations, communications, lessons learned, after action reports, and they've got great illustrations in here too. So I won't go like super into this, but you could study this book and learn quite a bit and be better off for it. This book actually is used by currently by our military here in the States as their handbook, because some of the infantry handbooks are like crazy thick, and this one's boiled it down into something that is easily manageable. So that's kind of like the prepping and mindset and medical stuff. And then this one is a novel of 4th generation war, and the cover is pretty hokey. Victoria. It's by Thomas Hobbes, and this novel is super eye-opening. Also, what's very interesting about it is you can see things that are laid out in this book happening today, so I can't recommend this novel enough to people who are prepping, people who are thinking about prepping and want to kind of have an idea of maybe what is going to happen in the future. It could be prophecy. I don't think it is, but you know, it definitely gives you an idea of how things can go south really fast, and what we could do to fix it. There are tons and tons of other books that I could recommend to you. This is just a really quick sample of them. But knowledge is power, you guys. If you don't have books, then you're not reading. And if you're not reading, you're not learning. So I can't recommend these books enough. And they're cheap. You can go on a website called half.com. It's a eBay website that teachers use, but anybody can use it, and you can find books for very cheap. I hope you've liked this video. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, drop me a message, and I will catch you guys on the next one. This is Slow Stacker. I am stacking it slow, even though this video was 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Catch you on the next one.